All right. So sorry about that, folks. Hopefully y'all can hear me and see me now. Sorry, we ran into a little bit of a technical issue. Not the best on the first day of a show, but I'm hoping everyone is able to jump in and join. Welcome to Creative Visionaries Live. I'm double checking to make sure that everything is up. I see that my stream is working. Let me know on your end if we are still looking good and if you can see us, or at least see me for right now. Oh, my name is Shawn, and welcome to the show. Waiting to see if any comments kind of pop in. We did, again, have a little bit of a delay, but let me know. Good to see you, too. I'm seeing some comments come in, so it looks like I'm coming in. Hello, Katrina. Hello, everyone that's in here. So sorry for the wait, but I'm loving it. I'm loving seeing everyone in here. And there we are. There's our comments. Looking good. All right. Well, welcome to Creative Visionaries Live, where we have creative visionaries here to talk to you about their process, their creative juices, how they get those things flowing. And I want to talk to our guests in just a little bit here. Just kind of hitting reset. So I'm going to share my screen because I've got some cool updates and I want to share with y'all before we bring out our guests. So I'm going to pull up Premiere and I'm going to share my screen. So we've got that there. But again, hello. So this is beautiful. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the new stuff that came out recently before we bring out our two guests. So let's talk about it. So just last week, actually 2 weeks ago at Sundance Film Festival, Premiere Pro Beta came out with some really beautiful new tools, one of which is media intelligence. Who has had an opportunity to look and mess around with media intelligence? It is a fantastic tool, and it really makes kind of your workflow and all of your magic that you're trying to make within Premiere happen a lot easier and more efficient. So media intelligence, if you're not familiar with what it is, basically when you but when you bring in your media into Premiere, media intelligence will actually analyze all of that footage and basically creates almost like a little behind the scenes metadata of what exactly is in your footage to make it easier for you to find. So when you actually drag in your media, you're going to see this little icon over here on the top right hand corner, and it'll actually allow you to see what media has been analyzed as you've put it inside of Premiere. So all of this stuff is already completed. So once it's done, you can actually go over to your search tab, and now I can go in. I know I've got some fire and stuff inside of this footage here. So I'm going to go and just type in fire. We can see I've got a welder here that's got these sparks going, and it pulls up my media nice and fast. Here's what's really cool too. It'll analyze any interview or news footage or footage that you have in your media that has any dialogue or vocals or talking, and they'll actually find the key words in there, and you can actually click on those and it takes you to your transcript, and boom, it takes you right to where it's the person says fire in it. So it's another really great way not just to see your visuals, but to also be able to find things through text. You can even find things through metadata as well. So media intelligence, really cool. It's in Premiere Pro Beta. Download it, try it. I want to talk to Ashleigh and Courtney about that as well. So I'm going to see if they're using it for all their different projects. Another really cool thing is Caption Translation. So this is really cool. If you're trying to branch out and reach other areas of the globe, captions are a really great way to kind of unite everyone together. And Captions Translation allows you to quickly and easily add multiple language tracks right on your video. So if you're used to using kind of the transcription tool and then creating captions from that, you can now actually add in multi-language abilities in here. So if I actually pull down my Premiere Pro little bar here, why is it not letting me grab it? There we go. I can see here on each one of these tracks, I've got a couple different languages here, and I can toggle on and off. I can have multiple languages going at once if I want to, and it's really nice. And I can keep this kind of organized. I'm seeing that one there at the bottom. Let's undo that. There we go. So we can do one at a time. I can turn each one off and on individually. And again, I can move these around. So if I want to go in to my properties panel here and adjust where I want those captions to kind of sit, I can easily do that. Now I can make them on the top. I can put them in the middle. And Caption Translation, really, really great tool. So yeah, those are the two really big, exciting things that came out during Sundance just a couple weeks ago. So that's a little bit on that. But I want to bring out our guests. And I've got some really cool stuff that I want to share. These girls are amazing. And actually, when I posted this on Instagram, a lot of people were like, holy cow, you've got Ashleigh and Courtney here. So it's really exciting to have them on the show. But I do want to bring up one of their video files here. And I want to show off one of their reels because they just do really, really amazing work. So I'm going to open up this file here and let's show you a little bit about what they do. There we go. Let me add myself in. Amazing, y'all. Some beautiful, beautiful work. Welcome to Creative Visionaries Live. We finally made it on the air. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having us.
Good, of course. Well, thank you for coming. I'm going to throw up your names there. But yeah, tell me a little bit about the work you do. I mean, obviously that reel is in there. How many years of work is that in just to make that one beautiful reel that you guys have there?
Ooh, that's probably about 2 years worth of our work. We started doing one every spring and fall. We would have a different highlight reel of the films that we'd made. Then, as if we all remembered, a pandemic happened and the amount of films we made slowly got fewer. We're like, oh, well, we don't have enough to fill a highlight reel anymore. But that's just a very small amount of the films that we've made together. Yeah.
So all in all, how many films have you guys made as a whole? Do you think your entire roster of films?
Yeah, we've made about 200 projects, over 200 projects, from music videos to documentaries, vlogs, and short films, and a feature film.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But everyone kind of, from what I've seen and heard, again, when I posted that you guys were going to be on the show today, a flurry of messages came through and everyone's just in awe of what you guys do. So you guys don't just make movies, you guys also do music as well. How did that kind of come about and kind of happen on your end?
Ashleigh and I, some of you have heard this story, but if you haven't, Ashleigh and I were just casually driving, and one of our favorite songs at the time was Clarity from Zed, and I'd heard her, and I just yanked the volume all the way down, and I was like, "You can sing!" I was terrible, but made her really nervous, and then we just started singing covers together because we we can both do that. And then we found that our voices blended really, really well together. And it's taken a long time to finesse our sound, but I'm so glad that we did. And now we use music to help fund our films and support us. Well, it's just a giant funnel of everything that we do, and they all work in tandem, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we also love doing large community events, and throwing live shows gives us the opportunity to elevate our friends, be able to play live music, and get to hang out with our community. So it's all worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I see you guys everywhere. Whenever there's, I mean, I know when there's Adobe events, I'm always like, I don't even get to go to some of these. You guys just kind of end up all over the place, which is really unique. And also, I think it's an important thing that a lot of, people that are in the creative industry need to know that, I feel like networking is a really important part of what you guys do. Now, how do you, I know you mentioned you use your music and your streaming and stuff to kind of help fund your projects. How does that work? What do you guys, tell me a little bit about that process? I'd love to know.
Do you want to take this one? Or
it doesn't matter. I can take it.
You take
yeah,
it.
Sure. So many of our community are in stream right now. Hello, Ohana. It's so great to see all of your beautiful faces. So we've been streaming on Twitch for about 6.5 years, and we have used our Twitch platform to grow as live broadcasters, producers, and really, really finesse our film skills. And we started showcasing our films and getting opinions and seeing like what scenes worked, what scenes didn't work, sharing our screenplays, doing some like behind the scenes, doing film education. And one day, one of our community members was like, why don't you guys just put up a goal to fund one of your films? Like, we'll do it. And so we've really first started doing this really ambitious project called CA at the Midway. That was a SNL type variety show. Mm-hmm. And we did everything ourselves, from acting in it to producing it. And we filmed like 8 films in the span of 2 weeks. And then we, during the live broadcast, we're using those as like the in-betweens for us to change into costumes to do this live green screen comedic element. And that's really where it started of, wow, we can dream a little bit bigger and we can put these goals up. And if people believe in it, then they can help support it and make it happen. But it's been amazing because not only have we been able to make our films, but we've also been able to teach the next generation of filmmakers, have people shadow like really, really amazing people, and provide job opportunities for our friends and collaborate with really, really amazing people.
Yeah. And this is all with the backdrop of music. As you can see, this wonderful clip that we're looking at, this is Ashleigh and I during a level 5 hype train. Basically, if we hit a certain goal, we will dress up and then do karaoke, which is always a lot of fun. But we had to think of something on Twitch that we could do and sustain it for 4 hours. Playing movies isn't that. We wouldn't have the time, and nor do you get to interact with people as much when you're just playing a film and then talking about it. So music was something that we felt that we could carry, since before we moved to Los Angeles, we were doing music on at our job at the time, and we would play long blocks of music. So we were pretty used to doing that already. And that allowed us to also write our own original music. And so we feel like that's kind of the introduction into our channel, if you will. People will listen to us sing and then they're like, wow, you guys are great, and I want to support that. And we're like, cool, but here's film and here's art, and they all work together. And yeah, so it's been a journey, but it's been really, really fulfilling.
Yeah, you guys actually, I've got another clip here. You guys actually go and on stage, like actually do like musical events. It's not just like kind of a stream thing. You guys actually play the guitar and keyboard. I can't play an instrument for the life of me, but it's really cool to see you both up there kind of going crazy. So how do you guys get these events? Is it just part of, being involved in the community, and then they just go, hey, we'd love for you to open for us or kind of headline? How do you guys get to do all this music stuff on top of film? And yeah.
At first, it started with Ashleigh and I because we weren't really asked to play live shows. There are some people on Twitch who do live events, but we figured the only way we were going to get the opportunity to play live was if we produced our own show. So in 2022, we produced our first live event, which was amazing. And we got a bunch of Twitch musicians together and we found a venue and did the whole thing. This was our first live music event together. And we realized we were just going to have to keep doing that if we wanted to. Then we, a friend of ours who is a musician that we met through Twitch was like, I'm doing this writers round thing. You guys should just come and support and see what the Los Angeles music community is like. And we showed up, and our name got drawn out of a hat to do a song, and they really, really liked it. So then they came up and asked us to be a featured artist the next time we went. And so that was how we kind of got integrated into the Los Angeles music scene. But those clips are specifically from shows that Ashleigh and I have produced. But now we have opportunities to play other shows that we are not producing because of that.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about, there's a lot of folks that, probably either don't have a stream or they want to start a stream and they want to kind of figure out what the best practice is. How do you, what do you want to give to people that are just starting out, or maybe, people that are want to get into it? How do you build your audience? Is it a continuous stream you guys do like every day? What's your kind of cadence, and how did you build the following that you have?
Twitch was a lot different when we started back in 2018. So the month before we even streamed, I logged on and I was doing so much research on the best times to stream, the best categories to stream in, and then kind of aligned it with what we were capable of doing. We actually started out gaming, and then that didn't go well. And then we transferred over to music. But the biggest piece of advice is, one, be consistent. I think that that's pretty much a blanket statement with any new skill or thing that you're trying to pick up. But consistency and a schedule are huge. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to go live on Twitch and hope that people show up, and then do that every so often and be like, well, why am I not growing? That consistency will hold you accountable to be able to not only grow your audience, but develop your speaking skills, develop all the type of tech that you need, from like overlays to sound alerts to all of that jazz. But that showing up is the first step in creating and cultivating a really, really amazing streaming career.
And then on top of that, on top of being consistent, know what your limitations are for you as a person, because you have to be able to sustain that. So whoever it is, if you want to be a personality on Twitch, if you want to wear an outfit, if you want to just be yourself, whoever that is, you have to sustain it. So if you are having a really bad day and you're like, well, now I have to go on stream and be this super goofy person that I'm just not about, you need to take care of yourself. And I don't think that we talk about mental health and live broadcasters nearly enough. So please just know your limitations and then try to set yourself up for success from the beginning. Ashleigh and I went in knowing full well we cannot be anybody else other than us because we were too busy and too stressed out. We're going to sit down and just do whatever that is. And that's how we're going to handle it. But yeah, so know your limitations as well.
Inactive user, I would love to comment on this too. What about content? Do you focus on what people are watching or what you enjoy? I think you have to find whatever happy medium it is going to be for you. For example, on Twitch, gaming is very, very oversaturated. The Twitch streaming space right now is very oversaturated. So you have to find what you are able to be engaged in, like Courtney was saying, and figure out what you enjoy and what you're able to bring to the table. It's great that you're showing up 5 days a week, but if you're streaming in something like Fortnite and you don't have an established community, then I think that you're likely going to burn out unless you get rated by, rated is when another streamer brings their community at the end of their broadcast to your stream. It's really important to also develop that sense of community, go into the communities that you are trying to grow in, be a known face. Don't just do it for clout and networking, like be very authentic in what you're doing. And I think that will help you find your blend of, do I enjoy these communities? And I really firmly believe that there's a community for everybody on Twitch.
I have to agree. Everyone kind of goes, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to build out my channel of like content. And that's the exact thing I tell a lot of people, is that there's an audience for everyone. So I think what people really gravitate towards is stuff that you really like. And if you really are passionate and love the stuff that you're doing, other people will kind of follow and want to explore that, and either inspire them to make their own content or continue watching yours and get enjoyment and pleasure out of it. And you guys seem to do it really, really well. So how much of your content that you make, because you guys got a slew of movies here. Got a little bit of a look at all the different films. How many of these were supported by your Twitch stream? And then how many were just kind of out of pocket on your own? Kind of out of this list. I'm not sure how updated this is, but
that one is actually only half. I didn't even scroll down to the bottom ones, but I would say maybe a little bit up from that list. Everything above has been Twitch supported. So I went, what, 20?
I'd say about 20-ish films have been Twitch supported.
Yeah, which is amazing. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Also, Val, thanks so much for throwing our Twitch link in chat. And Umo, thanks for talking about our show on the 23rd. We appreciate you.
Yes, actually, if you guys want to do a small plug on that, I'd be happy to. I'm definitely going to be there as well and check out these in action. Kind of killing it, doing what they do. But what's happening on the 23rd for folks that aren't sure about it?
Yeah, so we said that we weren't going to produce another live show. And then, so on February 23rd at Hotel Cafe, we're producing and playing at another live show. We're really, really excited. Hotel Cafe is a very iconic venue in Los Angeles. We're so fortunate to be able to be playing main stage, and we're going to be sharing the stage with a bunch of our friends, both from Twitch Music and from the local Los Angeles music scene.
There are virtual and in-person tickets, so if you can't make it in person, you can still check out the show. It's going to be amazing. We do originals and covers, but for this show on the 23rd, Robert, we will be doing just originals. That's not true.
But we're doing one cover.
One cover.
Yeah.
It's kind of a staple now. We have to do one cover that kind of
is relevant,
shows the time. Yeah.
Nickelangelo Studios, thanks so much for tuning in. We hope that you come back and check out all the amazing video and content that is here on Adobe Live, because you will learn so much, like Val was saying.
Yeah, there is a ton of content on there to learn, about Adobe products, what's new, what's, tutorials and walkthroughs. I know I glance at it a ton to learn a bunch of things. You never can learn everything,
Yeah.
What do you guys, you guys primarily Premiere and all Adobe on your end too, of what you guys work with? Have you guys used Media Intelligence yet?
We have. We actually have been in love with it. Text-based editing was like the first iteration of things. And then moving into media intelligence, we've had this really daunting project that has 8 cameras in it. And we've been putting that thing off for years. And then media intelligence, we're like, oh my gosh, you mean that we can just search the A7S II or the drone and it comes right up? Oh my gosh. And then looking up dance footage because it's a wedding. We're like, people dancing. And then, oh my goodness, yes, pulling that. It's made our edit job so much easier. But yes, we're mostly Premiere. And then you use?
I use Photoshop for our posters, for our film posters. So we use that a little bit. And I feel Express. I was like, there's one more I'm missing. Yeah, Adobe Express we use for a lot of our stream promo and our show promo, just the little flyers that we have to make for anything that we have going on. Val, you can find tickets on Hotel Cafe's website, and the show is CA and LA and Friends. It is probably the only poster that looks different from the rest of them. It's the bright blue one.
Bright blue.
You can't miss it. Okay.
Yes,
sorry,
and
it's come back to that.
Yeah, and in active we have music on Spotify, iTunes, Bandcamp, all the jazz. It's everywhere. And YouTube. We post a new cover. We try once a week. We just posted one this morning for Snow Patrol's Run.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for asking.
Where do you guys get your inspiration from obviously from your films, but from your original music? And do they sometimes go hand in hand? Is there sometimes you're working on a movie and you're like, oh, that'd be a great song? And do you make music for your movies? How's that relationship between music and your films? But kind of, do they work cohesively? Talk to me about it.
Okay.
I would say that it's a blessing and a curse, but Courtney and I, we're artists, so we're very sensitive and we feel very deeply. So I think with all of the different mediums that we're involved with like ceramics, wood burning, painting, music, film, all of them do end up blending together. We find a lot of overlap. And when we have an idea, we are able now to be like, ooh, would this work in ceramics? Would this be a cool song? Would this be a cool film concept? And just to be able to have the understanding of what we can push each medium to really, really has been beneficial in blending all of those inspirations.
Yeah, I think when it comes to any sort of catharsis, then it's going to be film and music will probably be the mediums that we use. If we want to do something that's more tactile or just something super strange, because Ashleigh and I like making art that makes people say, what is that? It's probably going to be
A crocheted
ceramic
horse.
Just a horse head with legs, no body. Then like those types of things that just are fun for Ashleigh and I to do. It's probably going to be in ceramics or crochet or wood burn or any of those things. But yeah, as far as statements or talking about futurism, any sort of ideas that we're really passionate about, then those will lean into film because we want to explore them a little more and a little bit more in depth than having it just be a piece of pottery sitting on a desk that makes someone laugh. So it's nice to have different mediums that can fit all of the different types of expression that we want to have. But we do listen to films, and ours included, and we're like, oh, this score would be really cool. And sometimes we'll sit down and just noodle. We call it noodling on stream, where we'll play random music and think that we could probably place that in one of our films one day.
Yeah.
So it does work in tandem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, do you guys like to focus more on comedy, or do you guys like doing drama? What's kind of a genre that you look at best, and what do you think people most resonate with when you go to festivals and things like that?
Michelangelo, we stream on Twitch, and we stream 4 days a week. So you can find us on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday nights, usually around 6 or 7 p.m. Pacific. And we play music and do film and Jackbox and a lot of talking, lots of yapping. We'll always make you hungry because we talk about food as well.
Whips. I think that is there's two parts, like there's two answers to that question, and it's such a good one. We were talking a little bit about this before we came on, but everybody's version of humor is so different. So comedy is really, really difficult. And whoever thinks it's not has never tried to do it. But it's really, really hard. We used to do drama a lot. Again, artists, lots of feelings. And that was the way that we felt that our feelings were suited best, was through drama. And we loved drama. Then we started leaning in more into sci-fi and experimental types. And the reason we've landed on comedy is I think now, where we are in the world, people just need comedy. They don't need any more negativity. So not only that, but Ashleigh and I we realized we needed to talk about topics that we were passionate about, but in a digestible way that even if you didn't see that there was more to it, I guess, that you could still just watch it and enjoy it and have a laugh. For us, that's the way that we feel like we could reach the most people, or if you wanted to look at it a little bit more and look at the themes that were involved, we could stretch ourselves that way. But dark absurdist comedy, we feel like, is a beautiful blend of all of the weird art that we like to do, while also having a statement piece. I guess you can talk more about that, director.
I think, like, just piggybacking off Courtney, like sci-fi became kind of where we were leaning because I'm very fascinated with futurism. I'm really excited to explore, like, not necessarily alternate universes, but like what would it be like if we were in a society adjacent to this? Like, I'm very interested in exploring connection and humanity and technology and what those intersections look like, and how I understand that we all deeply want to love and be loved. And what does that look like in a society that is continually turning insular? So that's where we get to explore that a little bit further in film, and be able to now bring almost an absurdist light to that. Because as Courtney was saying, as we've been attending film festivals and a lot of film programming over the years, it is really doom and gloom, and we don't want to add to that. But we do still want to help make audiences think, because audiences are not dumb. Audiences are very eager to be challenged and to have thought-provoking things to really, really noodle on. So it's really cool that we get to explore deeper concepts in film that are leaning away from drama, which is very much a comfortable home base, and now pushing ourselves to do more absurdist comedy, more dark comedy, more very intentional statement pieces.
Yeah, if you look at anything, any film festival, award show, the heavy hitters are going to be the dramas. Like, those are the ones that win the awards, but it's so hard to do comedy, and I don't think people talk about that enough.
No, I mean, let's dig into it. What's, where do you think, I mean, obviously there's a lot of variables there with comedy these days. So how do you find your comedy? What do you, how do you balance it with what people, think and feel versus what you guys feel? And how do you guys overcome any conflict with each other on what is funny or not funny?
You know, I'm really fortunate that our latest short film that we're getting ready to put into film festivals is called Mommy Issues. And it's a commentary on connection, and it's a commentary about technology and how we use that as a crutch instead of communicating with one another. And with that, our favorite film is Everything Everywhere All at Once, but I would say a really close second favorite is a film called Bottoms. And that movie really opened our understanding of how much you can get away with in film and how far you can push those lines. And in Mommy Issues, I'm so grateful that Courtney and our collaborator Chris Sash, they just are naturally really, really gifted and skilled performers and actors. They're very attuned to one another, and they are so good at working together. And they would just go off and take the script and bring their nuances. And it's not, what I've learned is comedy isn't just about the lines. It's about the delivery, and it's about all of the in-between moments. It's the reactions, it's the pacing, it's the sound design, it's everything to support the screenplay. And Courtney and Chris just absolutely excel at comedy. So these two made comedy land in ways that I could not have seen having written the script and imagined what that would look like at the end of the day.
Thank you. Appreciate that. If there's one thing, comedy is just so hard, but I always find it really hard because drama I can do all day. That is not anything I really have to think about too hard. But comedy, I think, is just, it's always about being sincere in it. And that's what we found lands the most is, so what makes something funny is when you say it just so sincerely and you're not trying to be funny, you're just saying how the character is feeling. And that can lend itself to being incredibly funny. And Chris, I'm so glad we ran rehearsal as much as we did, because I was laughing so hard sitting across from him. And likewise, we were having a really good time, but it's so much better to just find those moments when not anything is too rehearsed, I'd say, but giving each other the space to just, because the film is weird. And that's why absurdist dark comedy is so fun, is because there's no restrictions to what the comedy can be. It can be anything you want. And that was really freeing, but it is very hard to balance. Yes.
You slayed. It was so good.
Thank you.
It is actually very funny. I was fortunate enough to be able to watch it, and when it comes out, you guys are definitely going to enjoy it. It's there's a couple of really funny moments in there. I don't want to divulge any more on it. But how do you guys, so do you primarily actually work as the director, and Courtney, you kind of you act and then you write and produce on the outside? Do you guys ever switch roles? Do you ever direct on your end, Courtney?
Yeah, Courtney, do you ever direct?
No, I do not. Ashleigh writes. No. Ashleigh writes everything. Mommy Issues we co-wrote, but Ashleigh writes everything. She directs everything, and she does the cinematography for everything. And then she produces. I act. I will edit. I will do the color grade. Directing is something that we're gonna lean more into together, but I think that I need to get more on the writing side first. So yeah, we'll see. I dabble a little bit. Ashleigh acts.
I act.
She's so good. She's so good.
Thanks. Something really important for me in directing was learning and devoting a year of study to a different field within filmmaking. And so I spent a year really going to writers' retreats and writer sessions and workshops and classes. I studied acting at a couple different studios and put myself out there and learned what actors go through from looking for calls and going to in-person auditions and video auditions and acting class and stuff like that, so that I could learn to better communicate with actors. Same with cinematography, same with lighting, and same with editing. But I really think that the best way to be a well-rounded director is immersing in all of those fields, and acting was just kind of part of it as well.
And she's really good. If you guys didn't hear me say that before.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Also, Apurva, thank you so much for listening to Run from Snow Patrol. That's really, really sweet of you.
Yeah, I'm trying to go back and forth on comments to see any questions. So I do want to leave a little time at the end for questions. So if you all in our audience here have any, throw them in the chat, and we'll kind of queue those up to answer as we go along. But I do want to ask you guys, again, you guys have a huge array of films. What do you guys do with these? Do you do they just live on YouTube, or do you I know you mentioned you got a couple that were distributed, but you know, I myself as a filmmaker want to know, like, what would you do with shorts? I mean, there's not a huge market for those. So what where do these kind of live and go, and how do you, what happens to them?
Yeah, that's a great question. So sometimes we just post them up on YouTube. Some of them we've taken through film festival routes. With film festival routes, it has been touch and go, whether it was we are going for laurels, which that was the early game because we didn't know any better. We're just like, awards, please. But then now we're very minded about distribution. So there's a couple different ways that you can get your film distributed. You can package it with other short films. You can get it up for more visibility on some of the big YouTube shorts channels. You can apply to get your film, well, apply is loose, but you can aim to get Vimeo to pick your film as a short of the day. There's definitely means of distributing your short film. But for us, a lot of our films live on YouTube. We usually have 1 to 3 films that are in film festival route, and then we usually have like 1 to 3 films that are in post-production, and then probably 1 to 4 films that are in pre-production. And the goal is to get paid and get money back, because our last short film was about $20,000, and that's the most that we've ever spent on a short film, and that hurts our bank account and our souls a little bit. But yeah, the goal is to get that distributed, and we're working through that for the first time. We have had distribution, but it was through other people and through other means and programs of film festivals that we've gotten into, and part of the package of getting into those film festivals which is incredible. But distribution and just getting our stuff out there is the end goal.
So what are you? The big question everyone asks is, like, do you have a feature that you're thinking about getting rolling? Is there the big dream in there somewhere, or where do you guys sit on actually making a full length feature film to distribute out?
Yeah, so we filmed and we're almost done. We've been working on the audio. It's just been a labor of love. Actually, Premiere is going to be the way that we're able to finish it. And that's a very controversial take. But listen, why does Premiere have audio tools if we're not supposed to use them?
Amen.
And I'm really tired of people being so elitist when it comes to, well, you didn't mix it in Pro Tools. Okay, well, not everybody has
Mix
access
yourself in Pro Tools
to that. So we're really excited to wrap that out. That one's called Secrets That We Keep. At this point, it's a period piece. It was filmed in 2016, and there's not a lot of social media in it. So it's kind of great that we sat on it for as long as we did.
Yeah.
But yeah, the end goal right now is that Mommy Issues was actually part of the 3-part trilogy that we're working on, and the end is going to wrap with a feature film. We've also got a couple other feature films, but the one that Courtney will get very excited about is a film called Better Not Tell You Now. And it's going to be a very A24, like vibrant neon style film that's making a commentary on women relationships, what our responsibilities are to one another as we get older, and what it would look like if you actually got to get together with your childhood celebrity crush as an adult.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. So that one's going to be amazing.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'm hype. Yeah.
So you guys have been friends for a long, long time. And what do you think makes this work between the both of you? I mean, you both seem to have a genuine care and love for each other, and an understanding of what you're trying to accomplish. But other people might have some collaborators they work with. And what do you think works best for you both to be able to create this level of content?
I think for film, we already have a natural built hierarchy in. Not that my opinion is never valid, but at the end of the day, Ashleigh's director, Ashleigh has final say. So we'll have a lot of different conversations if something is working, if something's not working. It is rare that we disagree on things. I feel like most of the time we're troubleshooting on how to make something work, as opposed to, oh, well, I want to do this and you want to do this. That doesn't really happen. But even still, at the end of the day, if I'm not really attached to much that something needs to be that way, except for there was one thing in Mommy Issues, and I am again so sorry. I opened my mouth about it and I was like, if I could just ask one thing, can we just keep what you did? You already did it and it's amazing. Bless. So yeah, it's rare that that we really disagree on things. As far as music and streaming, we don't really disagree too much. We just go with the flow, and it's really about prioritizing what matters if you're disagreeing on something and what doesn't. So if we make a flyer, it really doesn't matter. If we're making something that's going to be on the screen for 2 seconds, again, it really doesn't matter, whatever it is. And we have so many things to do at any given time that when we split tasks, we're like, just do it. We don't need to, what do you think? And yeah.
I think the most important part has been at the root of everything. We always have to come home to our friendship, and our friendship is the most important thing. It used to be that film was the number one, and we will burn and bleed ourselves dry. But especially over the last 2-3 years, it's become paramount that if we're not good together, then we're like, nothing else matters. None of the art that we're creating matters. And we need to get back to home base and make sure that that's fixed. So having that understanding has really changed the way that we create and the veracity and velocity at which we move forward in our creative endeavors.
Yeah, and then allow ourselves the space, whatever the other one's working on, to just get out whatever it is, and not really critique too much. It's just, if we need to get something done and there's a creative element, then that's cool. I trust you. Just do your thing.
Yeah.
And we'll reconvene when something is really, really important. But there's so many things we have to make at any given time that there isn't really the time to be combative.
Yeah.
Either. And yeah, we are each other's home base. So
yeah. Exactly. You have to remember the why behind the dream. Absolutely. I would love to jump in. Apurva, thank you, Robert. A Revival is all originals.
Yes.
Which is super cool. And we release a new album, or at least a new single, every month. We dropped a 3-song original EP in December called Live at Hotel Cafe. We've got Revival, which we just released on January 31st. That has 3 originals. And then we're going to be dropping a new original at the end of this month as well. And then Robert, what is the most expensive to produce, music or film? Film. Film, easy.
I'd have to agree. Yeah.
There are just so many working parts. I know that studio time for music is very, very expensive, but you don't have to go into a studio to make music now. Film, even if it's the most low budget thing, even if you're filming in your house, or even just the wear and tear of it, bringing a crew on, film will always be way more expensive to do.
And likewise, Midori, I'm so glad that we have each other, and I'm really glad that we have the Ohana.
Yes.
And it's also the weight of the film that puts on your mind. That's probably what you pay the most, because it's not easy. Even the smallest piece of film, I mean, it takes so much to put it together. But I know myself, and I know the audience really appreciates everything that you guys do for the community, for the cinema world, for music, and obviously streaming as well. So I thank you both for coming on. We're reaching the end of our time, and I know we answered a lot of questions as we went along, so it was nice. We got to kind of take care of both. But
yes,
Ashleigh, Courtney, thank you so much for joining the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you for all of your insights. So I Yeah, let's give them a round of applause, everyone in the audience. I wish I had some sound effects for the
Round of applause for the audience.
Yes.
Round of applause for Shawn.
Thank you.
Congratulations on episode 1.
Woo!
Yes, it is in the can. So again, thank you, ladies, for hopping on. So that was Creative Visionaries Live, our first episode. I want to get feedback. Throw in the comments what you think. I'd love to see and tailor the show. I like to show a little bit of, Premiere, a little bit of Frame.io, which is a huge part of the backbone of what I do here at Adobe. But I'd love to know what formats and shows that you'd like. And I'm definitely going to have on more guests as we go along. I'm going to try and stream at least once a month, if not more, if I can, if we can get guests in time. But if you're interested in knowing more about Frame.io or Premiere Pro, you can always reach me here at Adobe Live, as well as my Instagram at ShawnTCB. Feel free to give me a follow, a like, subscribe, all the above. And I'm very excited to have all you on today. And thank you so much for sticking with it. And that is the end of our show. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.